Hey everybody, this is Jason. This presentation is for Information Sciences 439 class for the spring of 2025. Imagine you're a tree. In that tree on a mountainside, and as you're looking around, as a tree does, sometimes you have a rock. That rock is essentially the current University of Tennessee's website. It's very two-dimensional. It doesn't hold up. I understand it's done with WordPress. I understand the three-column design. I understand that UT has their limitations. But I want to show you something a little different, okay? So with that being said, all right. So in my placement, when I was talking to veterans, I talked to people that are current students, I talked to prospective students, I talked to alumni students. And in that sense of being able to talk with those persons, I was able to capture both persons that identify as male, persons that identify as female, persons that identify with disabilities or capabilities, as well as limitations. And when I did that, I found out that there's people need to have access to the food on campus, they need to have access to AI chatbots, and a sense of community through chats overall. Now, doing so, I was able to pull out and actually build personas in which the users were studied, and I was able to find the challenges across the board on what they personally do. Do they enjoy what they do? Do they want to have different interactivity? And there is where I actually came across different stakeholders, whether it be at the University of Tennessee's Veterans Success Center, as well as the people that are interacting with it. I was from that data, from the actual personas themselves, I had a group of volunteers who I interviewed through Zoom utilizing artificial intelligence. I took the transcripts from there, found recurring themes and patterns in the responses, and I was able to standardize overall what the website would look like. This provided me a common ground of what people needed and where can we go from in the future. The interface itself that I actually built was based upon the fundamentals of understand the problem, which was lack of universal capabilities or actually how to touch things. And also they couldn't see, they couldn't hear, there was no navigation, and I wanted to bring that up to the forefront. I wanted to be able to, so people can actually touch buttons, can actually interact with it, and chat with it in a more commonality. How I got there is utilizing the Figma prototype website. Now, utilizing Figma, I was able to make numerous prototypes in which I could convey my information and actually store things in little data buckets. So as an example, active students could go where they register for every semester. Alumni can actually connect with Connect UT website so they can, alumni veterans can actually speak with them amongst themselves. Prospective students, now this is where the advertising comes in. I was able to capture them and understand that there's a group of people that want to help other prospective students and bring them into UT in which they can help out overall. Now I use Figma, but I also use Wix. Now let me show you a little bit about Figma and Wix. Okay. Okay, inside of here it is the here's the picture itself inside of Figma. Now inside of Figma, I have all these buttons here on the left-hand side. I'm going counterclockwise right now, and you can see I actually have different accessibilities as they're shaded out, but they're also round. And the reason I did this is so that it doesn't matter if you're on a website or a browser, or if you're utilizing a phone. Utilizing responsive web design it was the cornerstone of how I did this, in which I was able to put the buttons on there and actually have them interact in what they're going to do and why they're going to do it. Okay. Now, as that works out, I was also able to build a website Now this is the Wix website that I actually designed, and as you can see here, everything works accordingly. Now I designed it purposely where the picture itself is static on the backside. It's very fuzzy and very shaded out for copyright purposes, but I also made everything else clear that I actually touched, in which now these buttons work, and you can see on here as everything flows up and down, back and forth. I have going back to the home button with shortcuts and breadcrumbs, in which everything flows connectively together. Now, doing this, I also built the AI chatbot. AI chatbot is for internal information that the Veteran Center controls. It does not touch the internet. It is a data silo or data bucket in which there's CFRs and things in there of that nature, where students can actually go and ask questions, the most popular questions in there, without having to frustrate any user. But if the questions can't be answered, it automatically offloads to a on-call representative where they can simply text message the response, or they can respond back via email or a phone call at that time. And that Wix, again, the Wix website was very fundamental for me. All right, I'm going back to my normal website. Now, since these are the user research fundamentals, when I was doing my interviews, and I actually talked to some of these groups of people, what they had identified their needs, their pains, but also the areas of improvement. The big button touch was one of the solid things I kept on hearing over and over again, but also the interactivity amongst other veterans, to me, a group dynamic. This overall brought back up the other thing of accessibility and exclusiveness amongst the users. I utilize an agile process in which every time I did a prototype, I would show a group of people and they would tell me what to do, and I'd take the recommendations and then keep on building it better and better to be a more superior product. Overall, my final conclusion, my proposed interface solves all these problems, solves the problems with user accessibility. It's very much tailored to the environment we're working in, as well as it adds the functionality of having a third-party chatbot. It has a third functionality of utilizing GPS sensors on the phones, but also is compliant with the WCAG 2.1 requirements overall, utilizing a responsive web design, assuring everyone overall had a good idea of how to use it. Thank you. Bye.